commando. Madness. I said, young man, I got me up. I want to be live where I swear. Now he said, I'm rapping my whole man, I get it. My kid was doing, I'm breaking the trumpet. On my way, people calling me names, all the trouble I see, I ain't do at the peace. When the suffering, the success, I can't pay the phone, how I get paid. Sooner or later, my hustle pay. Never pay, and I'm rushing myself. Keep it cool, everything I have a CC. Too much rushing, I'm probably chasing. One day. One day. One day.
I'm also gonna pay one day. Enemies can gonna see my face. Me I know I'm not watching me. One day, success gonna come my way. I know my hustle gonna pay one day. Enemies can gonna see my face. Me I know I'm not watching me. One day, success gonna come my way. Yeah. My mama was so ashamed. My papa was so angry. My friend was your money. Any mess that will come on and miss. So I'm on my way to this person. I'm looking for money. Looking for money, looking for money. I want them mama happy. One day Baba happy. One day my brothers and sisters to come around me.
Hey, come to the truth. What you doing you hustle? Why saying the book by the Genesis? Shall come at the fire, shall come at the power. I feel be working on Wednesday. You must look for the man, you must look for the man. All in the dark, all in the dark, all in the week, all in the week. All in the sun, the
I was so ashamed.
my
papa was so angry. My friend was your money. Any mess that will come on and miss. So I'm my Amando.
Summer's Corner is a soul food fusion restaurant dedicated to cooking from the soul. We've been here for a year and a few days actually, and this is the spot that you want to come to when you want to indulge in great soul food. Here we offer collard greens, baked macaroni and cheese, we have the fish and grits, shrimp and grits on Sundays of course, and a lot of other soul food norms added with a little bit of our fusion. Chef Summer Duffin is the chef in the kitchen, and just come on down and check us out. You will not regret it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lieutenant Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. Today is Thursday. Let me get this date correct. December 8th, 2022. To all you who have birthdays out there, happy birthdays. Okay? All the new births. To the boys, smoke a cigar. To the girls, what you? Do whatever you do for the girls, okay? Okay, chocolates, sweets. Give the mother, the dad, a cigar, the mother, some chocolate. Okay? Today is going to be in the low 50s in Providence, Rhode Island. Sunny. Right now it's cloudy, but it's going to be sunny. What do we have in the news for this morning? My Liberian people, I just want to say one thing before I go into my news and everything. Our bush schools. We have to be very mindful of the extent of our bush schools today. We cannot compromise our formal education and replace it with bush schools. The world is now advancing in the tribal tradition. The world is advancing in science, technology, and other advancement of this world. And if we compromise our educational system right now and replace it with our traditional bush schools, as we are doing in Liberia right now, we're going backwards to the Tubman era, to the Barclay era. Our native people are afraid of being enslaved. When you do these kind of things to our children, you are enslaving our people for the future. You're scared of being enslaved. You're saying the Congo people, they all these things for you. And now is your opportunity to lead our country in a different direction. Educate our children. Set the standard of discipline in order for our country. But you people seem to have no understanding of this. You people don't seem to understand the realities of this world, especially the educated native people in my country. You're making me shame. You're making me too damn shame. You're supposed to be enlightened and moving our country in a different direction. And you're the very same people perpetuating corruption, stealing, and bush schools. Why? You want to carry your children backwards? And let me tell you, my people, you're seeing children who in America here, who like Moses, and Steve Boley them, who said the indigenous, and they don't like what the people did to them. They're coming home to rule you. They're coming home to rule you. And you think George Weah them bad? You'll wait for the next group of people that are coming. You think the Congo people are bad? You'll wait for the next group of people that are coming. Because the next people are coming. We're going back in the past. These children are not learning our culture. They're not learning about Liberia. They're getting secondhand learning from their parents. When you hear people talking about, they did this to us, young educated indigenous children, talking about separating our society or paying back and all of that, and they never live in Liberia. You know we got a problem. We got a future problem coming. And I'm saying this because I'm impressed. It's impressed on my heart to say this. Because all my life, I live with you Congo people doing this. You Congo people, Congo people, Congo people. Everything is Congo people do this. Congo people did it. The masses of the Liberian people, Congo people, Congo people. Now you got the country. Instead of setting better standards for our people, where the masses of our people will enjoy, the masses of our people are tribal people. They're not Congo people. And you're treating our country like this. And you're blaming the Congo people. All my life I hear Congo people, Congo people, Congo people. Now the indigenous people got our country. And now here we're going back to bush schools. All our money missing. Our leadership can't move forward. Everything's stagnant. Is this what our people die for? Is it what we have 14 years of civil war for? Be warned. Our country not moving forward. Our country is moving backwards. And we take the same people from America to come here to move our country forward. America will not support us if we continue to harbor bush schools and all these negative things and put our country and society backwards. Now moving us forward with education. Look at now in Todi, the whole central city of Todi taken over by bush schools. No teachers. 165 students, not one teacher there in the whole damn area. Now the bush school had come from the bush and come to the center of the city. And all the students that are supposed to be attending schools are being forced to be initiated in the bush schools. Is this where we're going? Is this where you kill all our leaders for? For us to come back and start going to bush schools and things like this? Is this how our country people want? Is this what you want? You want to take us back to J.J. Rowell time and Edmund Bartley time when our people didn't want Western education? Everybody wanted bush schools. Is this what we want? I mean, it hurts me. It hurts me. All our people have died for us to change our country, died for us to become enlightened, for us to lead our country in a different direction. We accept it. But then again, we see our country ruled by warlords, by war criminals, by families. Our country is not supposed to be like this. You know, it hurt me because I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. I don't care who leads my country, as long as you lead it good and right. I serve on a door. I had no complaint with door. Until I saw them binding the finance ministry to high check stubs. Then I said, no, I can't serve in this government. I was too young. I was in my 20s. When I see people binding our ministry to high check stubs they are stolen, why are doing that government? There's no place for me in that kind of government. You destroy our infrastructure that we spend millions of dollars for to hide corruption and stealing, and nobody investigated it. Everybody just leave it like that. They say, oh, it happened before, so we let it happen. Why am I investing myself in time in this kind of country? Why would I even want to come back to Liberia? All my life I fought for justice and freedom and corruption and stealing. Then I see my people die. I suffer in our country. I didn't steal. I didn't be corrupt. I left to preserve my sanctity. Now the time for us to change our country. I see we got nothing more rogues and bandits and criminals, and we enjoy these people being in power because our whole country is corrupt. So when these people in power, it perpetuates corruption. And nobody got to pay taxes. Nobody got to fix lights. Nobody got to do nothing. Everybody's got to steal. And that other kind of country we kill our people for. I value life, man. I value my Christianity. That's why all my life, man, I stay clean, man. I don't do those kind of things. And I ain't going to do it because other people are doing it. You think I'm going to go? I was working in government. I never stole. You know me and my family people use a fuss because they expected me to be bringing money home like other people. And I was just getting $400 a month. I don't know how to steal. I never learned how to steal. I never had people to teach me how to steal. Everything I did it hard. I did it honestly. I worked with my shit. That's why I can cuss. I can do anything because I work hard for everything I got. Nobody in Liberia can say, oh, we gave President Chesson this. Not even my mom, my pa can say that. And when you work for things hard, you value it. You value labor. You value earnesty. You value good things. And these are the things we try to bring to our people, man. We don't have to be low down, dirty, damn rogues to enjoy life. We don't have to be like these people, man. And then I try to tell y'all, we can work and earn what we want. We don't have to be the banana Euro them. We don't have to be the Prince Johnson them. We don't have to be the George Weah them. The bitches are rogues. They are low down, dirty crooks. We are better people than that. Even though they're in our families. Banana, my cousin. You think I would be the banana Euro? I would get caught and put in jail. That's not my destiny. That's his destiny. And if we let him do it, he will get away with it. That's why we have good and bad. Because we have to balance it. Bad can't overpower good. Good is a supreme light. So when we support bad, when we support evil, then we come and talk. You see, when you have double tongues, you can't accomplish nothing. We talk. We don't want this. Then when we get the opportunity to change the things we don't want, we do the same damn thing. And we expect things to change. And look come and say the thing, or then he's doing the same damn thing. Everybody doing the same damn thing. We're recycling the same people. All our people abroad. We ain't got nobody in Liberia. So the people in Liberia, let me start my topic first before we go into it. Our Liberian people justify in our need for justice and the war crimes and economic court for Liberia. That's my first point. And in addition to that, I support rallies. I support protests. Because your voice will never be heard if you don't protest. That don't mean you got to break things. You got to be violent. But somebody said you can't get protest one day for something and go home and sit down and the thing continues. If you're going to protest for change, you got to protest for change. If you're going to sit down peacefully until the people take action. But you can't come protest one day, then you forget about it, you go eat rice and the same thing continue. You say, oh, we'll protest next year, 2006, or we'll wait for election to come. Then your protest is useless. But it is a continuous volley of protest, like the way you're doing in Liberia right now. Everybody got to protest at the same time. LPP got to protest on the 14th. CPP got a protest on the 17th. Another person got a protest on the 18th. And we just continue to protest. Every week there's a protest. The masses of people get in the street. We can support each other or everybody can do their own thing. But when you see these things going on now, then you see the public is becoming conscious of the need to protest. But what happened in our country right now, my people? I'm on my topic right now. I'm going to do ads or anything. I'm on my topic right now. We're going to talk about this thing. What happened in our country right now? There's a failure to communicate. There's a failure to communicate. There's a failure to collectively act. Everybody got their own idiosyncrasies. You know, we're so deceitful with each other. All those leaders there got their own deceitfulness with each other. That's why we can't come together. Deceitfulness, dishonesty, lies, treachery. When you harbor things in your heart that you want to do for yourself and you come out and tell us you want to do something else, and you encourage us to form coalitions and all of this, then in your heart you think you can come and use trickery or bullshit to lead this coalition you won't put together. It will fail. Because the people you calling together, they're not dummies. They're not from Caribsburg or from Diffusion 8 or Kakata or somewhere like that. All of them from Monrovia. You didn't want more people, they're smart. Everybody want to overpower the old person. So you got a whole part of deceitful people coming together, not unpatriotic. They're not loyal to each other. They have no means to be loyal to each other. Why are you coming together in the first place? Why are you coming together in the first place? You can't beat George Weah. Right now, the whole situation with Liberia, why do you think Ellen Johnson said it running all over the country? That woman can't die. And they're paying her too. That's the woman that's causing instability in Liberia. Because the West hold that woman high. She got George Weah there. And she going around the world, meeting with world leaders. What she's saying to those people about Liberia? Because those people listening to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf still. They're not listening to George Weah. They don't know George Weah. Those people didn't go to school with George Weah. Let me tell you something, man. When you got a woman graduate from Harvard University in this country, nobody else want to listen to George Weah. Who want to listen to George Weah in Liberia? They don't want to listen to George Weah. Using that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf running Liberia. Why you think when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf go to Africa, all the African leaders want to hold her hand, run around, kiss her feet? Because she's giving them commands of what to do. Let me tell you something, Ellen Johnson is a Harvard graduate. She graduated from the cream of the crop. If you don't believe it, just sit your asses down and watch our country go down the tube. Because what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did in Liberia, she doesn't want her legacy to be destroyed. So she will do everything to hide her stealing, her corruption, and what George Weah has done in Liberia. She will try to hide it. She will do everything to keep her legacy alive at our expense. Why do you think I never served in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government? All my family served at the Johnsons. Why do you think I never served it? Because I was critical of Ellen Johnson from the time Emma Johnson came to me to join her to free Liberia. Free Liberia from who? She said she came to fight for the Congo people, for the people that died. How you fight for the people that died when you were one of the masterminds to overthrow trouble? You see, my people, we just got to face the light. To me, all I think Ellen Johnson said he did, she had to do it. She told us to overthrow and destroy the mansion. She started the war. She started the coup. She started everything in our country. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, they're one woman. And so everything fall on here. Now she go around, she feed with her children. Then she got to go around the world and talk for us. This woman that now fuck our country up. I ain't scared to say it. She fuck our country up. Then she going around the world acting like she want to fix our country. How you fix our country? You started a war in our country. You started a civil war in our country. You became president. You know you can't control these men in our country. You want to be president, you be president now. Nobody want to listen to you. These men people come out of war, you think they want a woman control them? That's why all the people left Ellen, because there was confusion in that government, the first government. They were all good, but they couldn't control the situation in our country. because our people are bellicose. You got people coming out of war. They're listening to war chiefs and war lords. How do they come sit down and listen to the president? Why do you think Prince Johnson is one of the big men in our government and they pay him so many dollars? Prince Johnson, we got to take that money from Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson didn't deserve all that money he got. He held our country hostage to get all that money he got. And Nima people better come to your senses because you can't kill our country because of the native rogue. You can't kill our country because the man's a rogue. He's a rogue. And he deceived you as well as deceived our country. How you hold our country hostage? Say you protected us from what? For ourselves? We got to grow out of this thing, man. We got to grow out of this thing. We can bring our country together. We can unify our country. We don't need all this shit. Y'all got to get out of this shit. We don't need it. We can bring our country together. We just need a leader and leaders. We don't need a leader. We need leaders who are patriotic to our country, who understand the value of leadership today. Collective leadership, not greed-filled leadership. We got to find leaders for our country, man. We got to find leaders. We got leaders. We got young people. The same Steve Boley, I told you, Steve would make a good leader. He's a smart kid. Those are the kids who got to change their mentalities and make them understand that we are one people. To hell with the past. If we achieve the future, we can't rely on the past. We got to come out and put everything aside. All of us been hurt. But we got to come from different backgrounds with a mentality that we're not dwelling in the past. Our country means more to us today than what it was yesterday. Today, look at our children, man. Our children going to Bush schools again, man. Bush school taking over Tony Center. The whole town, no teachers, one principal. No, how did school have one principal but no teachers? And the Bush school coming back to the center because our government is incompetent. Our leaders are rogues. So our children will suffer, man. Our children will suffer battle. When they start going back to Bush schools and start neglecting the formal learning. I'm not against Bush schools. I'm not against Bush school because our culture must go on. We must perpetuate our culture. But we've got to set up, if we want the Bush school to run concurrently at the same time with our formal education. That's why we need to set up a commission to survey our educational system. My people, I want to bring a new era of existence to you. If you're listening to me, our country will change. And we'll change with our country. Because we don't have to be like this. We don't have to neglect our tradition, nor do we have to neglect our formal education. They can work hand in hand. We control our own curriculum. We control our own educational system. What we need to do is to set up a commission. These are when we really want to build our country now. When we get rid of the idiots and we really want to set our country down to move into a positive direction, we need a complete study of our educational system. Because we got to incorporate our Bush schools into our formal educational system. That will alleviate people forcing people to join Bush school. If we incorporate our Bush schools into our formal educational setting, that will make our wholesome societal living far better for us. Because we can't, right now we don't have the means to bring teachers into our country. We don't have foreign teachers to help us. We don't have enough trained Liberian teachers to teach our children. Our people returning to Bush schools. If our people want to do Bush schools and formal education, we need to set up that commission that will study do a full study of Liberian educational system. Our Bush system, our formal system. If our people want to do both, both school and formal system. We got to set up that system where we can incorporate it into our formal educational system, where our children, along with their formal education system, they would have boot school training too. So I don't want to say how to do it, but it's not impossible. It's just that right now, we're so focused on the Western world. We're so focused on not doing things for ourselves that our society will break down. And our society does not have to break down when we got geniuses who can put our people in society together. I'm not a genius, but I'm focused on my area of training, political science. How do I resolve some of these problems in my country? How do I take the social living of my people and make changes in there that will impact politics as well as social lives, socio-political lifestyle? Put all of them together. That's my job as a political scientist, to study my society. And as a lawyer, that brings in the fusion of the law, where I see we need to expand better. But my people got to understand what I'm saying. If we must change our country for the better, if we must all accept the things we want, traditional things, formal Western things, we can incorporate them together in our social and learning system. But we need to set up a commission of at least 10 people. Well, how many councils we got? We got 15 counties. About 15 counties, somebody from every county. We get one educated person, one from the church, one from the social community. All these people sit down with about 3 or 4 lawyers and educators. Most of them got to be educators too. We're bringing educators. All of us sit down and revise our educational system to how many years for boot schools. If we know so many years for boot schools, then we can set our system up where so many years, if we got to share kindergarten, so many years children will do kindergarten, Western education, then so many years boot school education. Then when they go on to the next level, we're incorporated as that. Even if we got to expand our educational year, we don't have to follow the Western people. This is our system. We want our children to have a full, wholesome, functioning educational knowledge and background. So for us to do that, and if our indigenous people still want the tradition to be a part of our Liberian societal living, we got to incorporate it. We can incorporate both. We don't have to put our children out of school to go to society booth for 7 years. No, we don't have to do that. We can bring a new form of educational system into our country where we mix the bush school with the Western school. You do so many years in Western school, then you take off, you go to bush school. Wherever tribe you're from, you go to your county, your bush, your Sunday society bush school, whichever society you want. And you do your training. And when you, after that training, you come right back into your formal educational system and continue it. Or we intermix it, where the cultural system is similar to the Western system. We mix both and we teach both. Then where they are different, we set the calendar where our children who want to still, their parents still want their children to do traditional training, certain time of the year, they can stop the Western training and go to traditional training. And those that want to do the Western training continue for that course. Then when they finish with their tribal training, while they're still doing their tribal training, they be doing their lessons too, because they got to do that. They got to keep on with the formal training. So while they're in the boot school, we'll be mixing those aspects of the Western society that mix with our cultural society so they can keep on learning. So when they return to the formal school, they can mix with those students that are still continuing their education without falling back. All the things we can set it up where we set it up and have educators, our traditional leaders, all these people come together and feel empowered, because all of them will get paid. You got it, souls, all of them coming to sit down to talk to the table on how to fix our country. We got to incorporate everything if we want our country to move fast. If we're going to move our funding, and we got to be sincere. Because if we have a system with check and balance of our government, our country is moving forward with the politics and the leadership in honesty and truthfulness. Then we set up our educational system and have our zoos and all these people come sit to the table to devise this new system for our country of educating our children. All of them will get paid. Everybody will be paid. Everybody who sit down on a commission will be paid. If the commission for 6 months, 7 months, everybody will get paid. Well, from there, we put everything in writing. We start spreading it to schools. See how we implement this process throughout our country. We got to get people out of Monrovia. Too many people in Monrovia. Our whole country in Monrovia. That was up country. We have no teachers. We have nothing up country. When you got almost 2-3 million people right in Monrovia itself and its environs, we have nobody else in the counties. So how the children will go to school? How the children will go to school? And all of this brings me to the same lesson this morning. How do we justify our need for justice and the war crime court when we're recycling the same people over and over? We're not changing our system of education. We're not changing the direction of our country. Let me tell you something. I don't want to get involved in my country because when I put my mind to doing something, nothing stops me from doing it. We can set our country up different from the Western world. We can set our country up where our tradition and the Western society will interact with each other. And everybody, excuse me, our zoos and all the traditional leaders will be compelled to learn something of the Western world too. They will not be so blind as they are. They will be in classes too. Because it will bring our traditional schools and our tribal schools, our Western schools together and set up a curriculum where they can coexist simultaneously with each other for the school year. And we can set it up, maybe our school year may be longer, but it will be more exciting for the children. Because during the whole educational process, our whole schools will leave the setting and go in the bush. It will not only be certain students. It will go to interact with our culture and things like that. It will be certain time, all the classes, certain classes will have to go in the bush to learn bush things. All the classes, certain things will be mandatory in our schools. Because if we are patriots of our country, there's certain aspect of our society that does not touch religion, that does not impact any kind of religious or sacred things of other people. We can incorporate those things in our school. We can incorporate those things in our school. Why we can't do that? And our children can go in the bush to learn those things. Basket weaving, clothes weaving, all those things, they can be done in the bush. We can send our classes in the bush. Have our children living in the bush too. Set it up so there will be a certain time of the year our Sunday society or Poro society will be formalized. They will be formalized. They will be formalized schools as our Western schools. And all of our Western schools children will be participants of all these interaction with our society things that have nothing to do with religion or juju or all those things, but the things that have to do with our culture. Basket weaving, skin dyeing, all these things that are cultural. We know the things that are cultural, our dances, everything like that. Learning our history, traditional history. We don't have to learn in the classroom. We can go in the village to learn that. Our students can learn village life. But we got to set up a different system. There are any other things we're doing for ourselves. And you see, when we set up these things, our country will come together. We'll be more unified. So that's focusing on what we need for ourselves and our young children. Because we can't continue on this trend. You know, I can talk about justice and war crime, but right now, I'm tight with the boot schools and all these things going on in our country, man. We're going backwards. We're not going forward. We're going backwards. The military, our leaders, everything is politics. Everything is politics. You know, everybody want to rule our country. That because our people are not focused. Our population is not busy enough. We got too many children just walking around the streets when we can use these children to do things that are positive. We can use these children. Our government don't have to advance. If we wait for our government for election and all these things, for Burka them to reset our society and build institutions, it would take too long. It would take too long. We as the people who are patriots of our country and see these issues in our society, we got too many issues, man. We got too many issues that the government alone can't solve. The government alone cannot solve these issues. And as long as people stealing, as long as there's no check and balance on this government, or any government in our country, our money will go to waste. So with that, while we're checking balance on this government and ensuring that our country becomes correct, because our country is not correct yet, we're still suffering from the remnants of the war. Too many issues we got in our country now come from the war and from bad leadership and bad governance and all of that. So while we're trying to fix our country, we can't just focus on politics. We can't focus on 2023. We got to focus on our society and what's going on in our country right now. Because what's going on right now is bigger than politics. You know, every day I hear about tribal boot schools. I hear about our children losing education. I hear about the injustices that are going on in our country. What's the reason for us wanting justice? What's the reason for us wanting war crimes, quote, economic quote? What the reason? Does it seem that I see what justify it? What is the reason that we want all these things? If we don't want change, if we don't want a better life, but the way our country going, we can't get a better life right now. We can't. Our society is backwards. The minds of our people not forward thinking, it's backward thinking. We gotta make a strong effort to change our people, to incite our people to rise up to be better people, man, to move in better direction. We know the hardship is there. We know the difficulty is there. But we ourselves have to be responsible for our lives and our destiny. We got to be responsible for it. And for those of us who are educated, we the one who can direct our people. Our people looking for leaders. Everybody can come and say, yeah, but if you can't carry your ideas to the place where you want it to end, you can't complete your ideas. That's why we need people with education. Because people with education can address these issues in our country. We need leaders, educated leaders, my people. We can't continue. And let me tell you, the kind of leaders we need fully trained leaders. We don't need people with just Western education. We need people who understand our society. I was watching the class on reload or something with Darius Dillon's show. And they were talking about people understanding the society, like Elitala Cummings and all of that. We got two societies here. We got a Western branch and we got a Liberian branch. These two aspects of our society are components of our overall society. Because if you come with a Western education, you appeal to only certain side of our population. If you don't understand how to deal with our indigenous people and our uneducated people, our illiterate people, you will not be able to move our country forward. And people were talking about the issue electronics have it right now. Electronics can appeal to the enlightened people of our country, to the people that got some education, to the people that have seen some kind of light. But he can't appeal to the common people because his lifestyle is Liberian lifestyle. It's not wholesome. He doesn't have an innate understanding of our tribal politics. You got to understand it. That was Tubman survived for 29 years because Tubman understood he was a Congo man, but he was a patriot Liberian. He understood our traditional people. Then you have people like my grandfather, all the people who added to him connecting with our traditional people. And that what made Tubman stay so long because when the traditional people trusted Tubman, they didn't trust any other Congo person. Tubman was the man. So when Tubman said something, it was so say one, so say all. I told you all Tubman's life. Tubman was a drunk man. Tubman used to hang out in the street, but he was smart. Tubman wasn't a dummy. He came from Maryland, the Monrovia boys didn't accept him. So he was an outsider. He was not from Monrovia. So Tubman used to just drink and hang out with those boys in the street or in the bar and things. And so now Tubman used to get drunk. He used to fall out in the bar. The boys would come take him home, lift him up from the street, take him home. Tubman fucked up. They would take him home. In the morning, he would get up, come with the boys. All the boys knew Tubman. All the boys in the street knew Tubman. Tubman used to drink and have their booze. Then he would get up. All the boys used to serve him too. Tubman came from Maryland. The Congo Monroe boys didn't like him too much. They wanted to use him. They thought he was just a Maryland boy. But Tubman connected himself well with everybody, and he knew the people in the street. So when they tried, when Barclay tried, that's how Tubman became president. Barclay, one of the Barclays, I can't remember, Edwin or Arthur, one of them, they were president. They wanted to change the term of the presidency to make it longer. So in order for them to enjoy that status, they had to move from the presidency. It's not like the day people would change the presidency and just stay there. No, you can't change the term of the presidency and stay there. When you change the term, you move somebody else go there, then you come for the next term. But that what happened in Liberia. So he wanted to change the term. So when he wanted to change the term, he couldn't stay in that position after he changed the term as president. So what he did was they wanted to be smart. He said, I will resign, put Tubman there, change the constitution and make it longer, then we can just move Tubman anytime we want to move him, impeach him or do anything to Tubman. And I come back in and just take the term. So it was all set up that they had a little political scheme set up to use their drum boy from Maryland. Got it. So they brought Tubman and they put Tubman there and said, my man, you hang on the thing small, run the country small, let Barclay take over, let Barclay do what he want to do, and you can stay there at the time end, not knowing the Hazard can just start playing for Tubman. So they put Tubman there. Man, as soon as Tubman got that, Tubman said, shit. Look at these small boys. Tubman fire all the ministers and he start putting all your boys there. He brought Mac, Ruler, start putting all your boys who knew him or loyal to him in his top position, in the ministerial position. Then when they got to it, they wanted to put Barclay in jail. It's like, see, Barclay too. Barclay forgot about president. He couldn't stand Tubman. So Tubman, the plan they had to school Tubman turned around and schooled them. Then he had boys, he brought in boys, the Ben from all of that brought the indigenous people in to the Tubman administration, brought them into the government, made them representatives, all the chiefs. They brought all of them, made them representatives. Who did the country be loyal to? Yeah? That's the most ingenious things those guys did. You see? And that was had to kill my grandfather because it was scared of my grandfather because he brought all the chiefs in. So they said, no, this guy is powerful. So all these guys would listen to him. And not only did he bring all the chiefs into the representative position, because my grandfather, I told you all, Brentford was a lawyer. He didn't believe in taxing the people with a hot tax with all representation. Under democracy, there can be no taxation without representation. So he told Tubman and said, well, look, let me go and bring all the boys and put them in the house. Let them represent the tribes. So he said, you can do it. He said, yeah, I can do it. So my grandfather went and negotiated with the boys. He said, look, I will take your girl to marry her and be my wife. The boys agreed. So they gave him, Chikpala gave him his wife, the Gola daughter, who was trained by the missionaries. My grandmother could cook, could read and write, could play music. My grandmother, she was a home economics teacher. The Lutheran church, and the people trained her. So my grandfather saw her. Oh man, he wanted her right away. That pissed the curious white people off. My grandfather went and married a Congo woman, a native woman. Oh, they tormented my grandmother. They tormented my grandmother. They almost drove my grandmother crazy. They all kind of did foolish things to her to drive her nuts. Because my grandfather, that way he had to take my grandmother out of Curious where build a house for her in Mamura and give her own house. Because in Curious where the people are pissed off. You got all your Congo people, light-skinned Congo people, then you bring the black Gola girl and put her in a place, start having children by her, say that your wife, you light-skinned like the people you living with. Your wife one of the only black people in that whole area. Then she from the indigenous tribe, the people didn't want to speak to my grandmother. They treated my grandmother all kind of wicked way, man. You know how go Congo people to treat people when they get ready. That's how they treated my grandmother. They almost drove my grandmother nuts. Then they say, oh, she crazy, she crazy. Look at it, my grandfather took my grandmother out of there and put her down in Monrovia there and left her there. Because the people, they tormented my grandma. And y'all know that. Y'all know you can't take a Gola girl married to a Congo big shot and take her to Brewerville or Carriesway and put her that way. No, it couldn't work. My grandfather knew that. He should have known that. They tormented my grandmother. Almost drove her crazy. They nearly did. They say, oh, she's crazy, she's crazy. How should I be crazy? And you take that Gola girl and put her in Carriesway with all the Congo people. Huh? The very same people call me bastard. Huh? You put my grandmother among the people. Then you expect her to survive. They tormented my grandma. So my indigenous people, you ain't got nothing over me. I'm your king. I'm the prince of the Gola tribe. I'm a king now of the Gola tribe. I don't believe in that tribalism and all that thing. My grandmother was Chipana daughter. I'm a king of the Gola tribe. So I ain't got nothing to bullshit about. I ain't got nothing to hide when I'm telling you what to do. Because my name Chesson don't mean that I'm not Liberian. Don't mean that I would deny my native roots. But there's a time for nativism and there's a time to move our country forward. And right now, it's not time for tribalism. I know some of my Gola cousins and all of them. I know some of them, and they know me. It's just my grandfather. My grandfather took my grandmother away from her family, and she never interacted with her people. She took her in the middle of Curious where they tormented her almost to death. You know. So when they call me a bastard, you can understand where I came from. Because the way they treated my grandmother. But I wasn't raised with those people. I was raised by my aunt. And I remember one time my aunt told me, said, when she sent me, the first time she sent me to Curious, she said, Pablo, get up, come here. Go and learn up on your Mayan people. That's what she said to me. Get up and go learn up on your Mayan people. And that way I started going Curious. I couldn't go to Rawa film with my mom, brother. He was crazy. The man was crazy, man. You know, some of the shit he was doing. At last, she didn't send me there. So he was the big shot in Carriesway. So my aunt sent me to Carriesway to live with my cousins. Thing. I wasn't living with my grandfather people. I was living with my aunt people, the Wadsworths. So that pissed them off too. When he found out when he Carriesway, I was not with him. I had gone to play with his children because he wasn't there. I didn't care about knowing my uncle. My uncle was not a civil guy, man. He was a mean, evil guy, man. It literally, you know, what it did to my father and to them, my grandfather and to them, it was very hurtful. Because when they killed my grandfather, they stole all his money. They stole, but his own family tried to steal all his property, change all the deeds and stuff like that. You know, they sent my mom to, they sent all of them to Ghana and Guinea and all the places to school so they could be away from Liberia, so they couldn't know much about their country. You know, so even with me, I was hidden because nobody knew who I was. I cared to know. You know, I didn't go around boasting I'm this and that. I hardly even talk that I was my grandfather's son, but my family. I hardly did. Because my aunt used to tell me, oh, don't let Tutman hear you talking about you won't be president. Because you know how kids you say, I won't be president, I won't be. One time I said that, my aunt called me, she said, don't ever say that. Don't let Tutman hear you say that. You will disappear. So right now I wonder, I said, why can't I say that? So as I grew up and I knew the relationship between Tutman and my father, I said, oh, I see why they don't want me to say that before I disappear too. But our politics has been dirty from time immemorial. All the people that came from America, that came to Liberia, they didn't come from the same place. They came from different parts of America with different training, with different experiences of slavery. Some people that came to Liberia had never suffered under slavery. People that joined Rostrum and all the things, they had better living because they went to college. George Rostrum and people like that who wrote the Liberian Herald in 1830 and all of that. He graduated from Baldwin University in Maine. He did the first black newspaper in America, the Freedom Journal. Then he joined a ship and came to Liberia and started the first newspaper in Liberia called the Liberian Herald. So everybody that came to Liberia didn't have the same experience. There were some niggas that came were rich. The people in Maryland, the niggas that went to Maryland, their masters, the slave masters, sent money for them to settle, took care of them in Maryland. They were different from the Moros, from the ACS settlement. Different people did settlements to Liberia. We had the Maryland settlement, we had the Monrovia settlement, ACS settlement. I think there was another colonization. I think there were 3 colonization societies right in Liberia there from different parts of America. The people that came from Maryland, they settled in the area called Maryland County. They were independent. They were not part of Liberia. The ACS that founded Liberia were in Monrovia. And the areas around Monrovia, the first 3 counties or something like that, they were in Monrovia. Maryland was way on the other side, on the Cavallo River area there. They were another colony. Then they had another one. They were about 3. Well, the other one, most of the people died. The Maryland County eventually joined with the Monrovia colony for their own safety from the Grable Wars and stuff like that. They joined with the Monrovia colony. So all of us didn't come from the same places. So despite the experiences, some people were rich, fully rich. The people that went to, I remember reading in some places where the people that sent their family, Tutmans and all the things that sent their slaves to Maryland, the people supported them there with money. They used to send money to them. They only joined Monrovia because for safety reasons, the war with the tribes and all of that, they had to join Monrovia. But their colonization was different than ours. You see, even with ours, there were some people, all black people in America who were slaves were not poor. Y'all understand that? All black people in America who were slaves were not poor. That way you have the house nigger and the field niggers. Many of the house niggers were children of the masters, sleeping with slave women who worked in the house. The master knew their obligation to the slave children, but they didn't want them to be as equal as their children. They didn't want to admit that they were their children because it would have caused a social upheaval in America. Everybody knew they were sleeping with the slave women and having the illegitimate children, but it was silent. Because all the big people were doing it. Thomas Jefferson, I come from Jefferson Plantation. Thomas Jefferson, Bruce Washington, all the people were sleeping with black people and still practicing racism because it gives them power over the women and the men. They would take any woman, whether she was married to you or not, and sleep with her and have children and not be obligated to take care of the children and just leave them to be niggas in the field too. Some were wicked to their children. Others who were Christians had serious religious issues. I crossed my 1 hour already. They had some serious religious issues. And we talk about all of that because you got to learn our history. Everybody that went to Liberia wasn't equal. Some people suffered, some people were rich. And those people that benefited more took advantage of our tribal people because they have more connection with the rich people. The other people that just left and went there survived with our native people. They were some of the people that intermarried and stuff like that that helped to bring our culture together. So when they say slave people went to Liberia, Liberian people, all of them were not poor. Some of them were highly educated because their white fathers loved them and left them wealth and education. Not all of them were poor, because all of them were poor, Liberia would not have survived. If all of them were dumb, Liberia would not have survived. Some of them were good children, loved by the masters. Let me stop my class here, and tomorrow we'll continue. Okay? I just want to give a broad understanding of our culture and where our slave people came from. So people think, oh, you're a slave in America. Everybody was not slave. Some Liberian people that came as slaves were children of the masters, and they came with wealth. They came with property. They came with money. They came with the support. Why you think Liberia survived? Because the white people bought the land for their illegitimate children. Because they couldn't be legitimized in America. They couldn't be recognized in America. And some of them felt guilty, especially those who were Christians and loved their black children too. Some white people loved their black children. And they felt bad that their children couldn't be integrated into the society. So when the church and all these people opened up to the colonization, they said, yeah, let me send my children back home. We'll support them and they will control their mother's children. That's why we have problems in Liberia with the mulattoes. Aluta, continue. We'll continue this class next time. In the cause of the people, the struggle continues. In the cause of the people, the struggle continues. In the cause of the people, the struggle in the cause of